Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Pre-Market News and Views by In the Money Stocks. Today is Wednesday, September 5th, 2012. I want to thank you all for tuning in this morning. Let's get right into the charts here. We'll start off with the usual S&P 500 E-mini futures. You're going to see the futures really are all over the map. However, they are higher, much higher than where they were 4 o'clock in the morning. So you got this little big reversal, this nice big reversal bar. And now futures are trying to creep higher, but keep an eye on the U.S. dollar index. It has really been tossed around today like a cheap suit, so we'll have to watch that very closely. The markets seem to be trading directly inverse to the dollar today, pretty tightly correlated as far as I can see. But right now, futures are down about $4.75. They were just positive, I'm going to say about 10 minutes ago, so it's pretty amazing, but futures were just positive. And now they are negative by about 4.5 points. Overnight, they were getting hit, and then the dollar miraculously just fell off a cliff. I'll show you the chart of the U.S. dollar index, and you'll see it for yourself. Here, the dollar right around 4 o'clock started to roll over. Once the dollar did that, futures came up. Then you can see this big sell-off in the dollar about 30 minutes ago, and then you can see a little pop in the dollar, and now the dollar is pulling back. That's going to help futures elevate a little bit. So again, market is trading directly inverse to the U.S. dollar index. If you take a look at the daily chart of the dollar, you're going to see that the dollar really since late August, and even the case could be made since early June, topped out, and look how it's been selling off, and hence there's your rally. Dollar down, market up. It's pretty much that cut and dry. I know a lot of people don't talk about it or look at it, but it's really just a weak dollar policy that keeps the markets afloat. So that's what we're dealing with. Keep that chart up at all times. You don't have that, you can use the UUP, but I think the dollar is going to be very important today. So keep that up on your watch list. All right, let's take a look at a couple of other things in the market. We're going to look at gold and oil. First, we'll start with gold here, which is trading down about $3. Take a look at the GLD. You have the GLD this morning. Whoops, wrong symbol there. GLD. There we go. You have the GLD this morning trading at 163.98. Basically, no real motion there. Closed at 164.48, so it's down a little bit from yesterday's close, but nothing big there. And as I said, spot gold is just down $3 to 16.93 an ounce. Now again, if the dollar would strengthen, gold would start to sell off. So I know a lot of people are very bullish on gold right now, and gold has had a very good run as of late. But again, if the dollar strengthens, gold should sell off. So you want to be a little bit cautious there. If you're holding any gold right now, just trail your stop loss or something. But if the dollar catches a bid, that's the only way gold really will move lower. So again, right now it's still holding up pretty well this morning. Like I said, it's only down about $3 on the spot price to around 16.93 an ounce. Let's take a look at oil this morning, which is basically flat from yesterday's close. It's trading around $95.25 a barrel on light sweet crude. Let's take a look at the USO, which is a proxy for that. This morning you have USO trading around $35.46. It closed at $35.51, so just down a few pennies from yesterday's close. Not really a big deal, at least at the moment, but again, this is another commodity that will trade inverse to the U.S. dollar. So when everybody looks at gasoline prices and they say, wow, gasoline is so high right now, and you can see it, if the dollar strengthens, gasoline will sell off. If the dollar does not strengthen, the dollar continues to weaken, gasoline prices will go high, and right now they're pretty much at an all-time high. I think this Labor Day, gasoline was the highest that it's ever been, so for a Labor Day weekend. So again, this past Labor Day had the highest gas prices ever. And again, you could just see the big move in the UGA, which is the United States Gasoline Fund. And yesterday it sold off a little bit as the dollar showed some strength. Today, with the dollar being weak, gasoline should go right back up. All right, let's take a look at some stocks in the news today. There's a few out there. We're going to start off with FedEx, the most important. Okay, this is the world's largest transport company out there as far as I'm concerned, and probably the most important one. Let's go to the daily chart. You'll see that it closed at 87.54. Let's go to the intraday action. After the closing bell last night, FedEx warned. They lowered their guidance. I'm not sure exactly what they said, but I believe that they did lower their quarterly profit to to around 137 to $1.43. I forget what the overall estimate was, but I think that's what they lowered it down to. And you can see the big sell-off there. The stock has recovered a little bit since then. Traders should watch a couple of levels here. The levels I came up with this morning, well, one is going to be 84.63, but I think that's going to be a minor support level. It could be broken. And then the next big level where FedEx will have a lot of support will be 81.50 and all the way down to around the $80.74 level. You'll have a little bit more support around the 200-day moving average, or I should say the weekly 200 moving average around 79.80, and then it's down to 76.83. Gets down to 76.83. I really like it there for a real nice bounce. That may even be more than just an intraday bounce. But either way, watch those levels. Again, it's 80.74, 79.82, and then it's 76.83, which would be just a real nice play at that level. But again, all of those levels can get bounces. There's minor support at 84.64. We'll see if that holds up. But that was breached yesterday after the close. So again, it's not going to be as strong. It's already been penetrated. So you really have to look more towards the downside. And I think $80.74 would be that level. Okay, so again, those are your FedEx levels for short-term bounces, and those are just intraday scalp plays. These are not swing trades. Okay, so keep that on your radar. In sympathy to FedEx will be UPS. UPS also one of the largest shippers and the largest cargo transporters and package delivery services around. Now UPS is getting hit this morning. Stock closed at 73.70. Today it's trading at 71.90. I have a level here at 71.30. I like 71.30. You could see a bounce there. You also could see a big bounce at 68.80. Okay, so 71.30, 68.80. $70 may be some support, but it could be short-lived. I like that 68.80 level very, very much if it does get down there. All right, so those are your levels for UPS, which is falling in sympathy to the move on FedEx, which the company did guide lower. Their profit, their earnings are not going to be as high as expected. All right, let's take a look at Facebook. Facebook today in the news, it looks like Mark Zuckerberg came out and said he will not be selling stock for a year. Also, they're going to do, I think, some type of buyback down here. I'm not sure the exact specifics, but you can check out the news. I don't really care too much about it. I don't think it really is all that much of a big deal, to be honest. Facebook is in a real negative pattern at the moment. The stock's going to have support around the $16 area. That's a mathematical number, so we'll see if it does get down there. Again, it's a little bit oversold, so sure, it could bounce up here. But I don't know if you want to make too much of a big deal out of it. They're just trying to hike the stock price up right now. I'm not sure if the market is going to buy into it. All right, let's take a look at Dollar General. Ticker symbol is DG. I'm not sure of the news here, but the stock had a really nice gap up, and now it has faded all throughout the morning. So there's not a lot you could do about it. Stock still has very good resistance around 54. If that level was breached to the upside, then you look at $56. But overall, we'll have to see how this thing plays out. Again, don't want to make too much out of it at the moment, but we'll see where this thing heads. A lot of resistance, though, at 54 if it does get up there. One I was looking at this morning in the news was HITK, which is this high-tech pharmaceutical. I haven't traded this stock in a few years, to be honest, maybe 10, to tell you the truth. But the stock closed at 36.54 yesterday. It's trading at 32.28 now. I'm not sure what the news is. It's a thin stock, meaning it doesn't trade many shares. On average, this thing trades sometimes 100,000 or less. You always got to be careful with that. If it gets down to around the 27 level, 27.40, you could probably look for a bounce there. There's going to be some short-term support at 30.68, but on light volume stocks, and this is a strong gap down, I usually expect them to go lower, so be a little bit careful there. Stock will also have good support around the 23.50, 23.60 level, so keep that in watch. Again, it's a harder trade because it's such a light volume stock. It's really the reason why I haven't traded it in so many years. I've gotten away from trading light volume stocks, but I thought it was It's a name that I know pretty well, so it's fallen pretty decently here. So I'd figure I'd give you guys the levels. But again, light volume names, you always cut back your share size, even if you do decide to try it. But again, always be careful with these light volume stocks. All right. So that's what I'm looking at this morning. We'll see how this market plays out. Again, watch the dollar. The dollar has been thrown around all over the place. You can see how it was all the way up here this morning around 81.70. Now trading around 81.20. I mean, this thing has been whipped around, and you can see the futures will trade inverse to the dollar. I mean, look at it. Big sell-off. Now it's coming back. So, again, the people that control the markets, the big institutions, whoever they may be, we're not going to say names here, when the dollar goes down, the markets go up, and that's really the bottom line. So keep that on watch, and that's the deal. All right, everybody, have a great afternoon, great morning, and we'll see you back on the charts tomorrow. Take care, everyone.